You don't need thousands of dollars being spent on creating highly professionally produced videos to make them work on YouTube. Stick around to the end of this video and we're gonna show you how to create cheap but quality videos that can convert well with YouTube ads. Let's dive right in. So in today's video, we break down how to actually create cheap but quality ads that can convert well for you on YouTube ads. One thing to keep in mind is when we think about advertisements, what brands come to mind, right? Nike, Coca-Cola, Ford. There's a whole bunch of brands out there. They have highly produced commercials and spend millions doing this, right? What about YouTube ads? What type of videos come to mind? Maybe that you've seen. Perhaps from mainstream like Dollar Shave Club, Purple Mattress, right? There's a lot of videos out there that I'm sure they spend a few $1,000s producing it. There are other simple examples that still do the job, right? They still do the trick of converting, somebody that doesn't know about your brand to somebody that's already a paid customer, paying for your product or service. There are simple but effective videos, okay? Today we'll show you a simple but effective ad that has generated thousands of dollars in revenue. For us, obviously we're just gonna blur out some information, but this is potentially one example, and we're just gonna look at my screen here real quick.
Imagina fazer 10, 20, 50 mil reais todos os meses e ver esse número subindo sem precisar fazer esforço, ou passar 10 horas trabalhando numa coisa repetitiva, chata, que não te valoriza. A verdade é que o mundo mudou.
So with this video, I mean, it's very basic. It's just a guy talking to the camera, right? He's got obviously the mic here. He even has the cable showing, but he's got the YouTube button there in the back. Like I said, I mean, this ad is not super high quality, but it did generate thousands. I mean, I can show you inside the dashboard here. So bear with me. Okay, it has over 4 million views. We have the ad, right? This is the same ad that you guys just seen here. And look at the number of impressions, 4.8 million. We've actually spent $31,000 on this ad, and that generated us 20,789 webinar signups. Cost per lead was $1.54, and we had 162 purchases from this ad alone. It goes to show you, you don't need a highly produced ad, you just need a good script, somebody that's energetic as this guy. He's very enthusiastic, and obviously your offer needs to work, right? You need to have a well-performing offer. So this is another example here. This is Imperfect by Imperfect Foods. This is one quick video breakdown. I mean, it's a 60-second long video, right? But it has over 600,000 views. Again, we don't know how effective it is, but apparently, it was effective for a certain amount of time to get 600,000 views on it, right? So we'll just show you here the video. Right, very basic, and had a little bit of a upbeat background song there, instrumental, and that's again just a couple examples there. Obviously, the one that we did was just 4-minute video of a guy explaining the offer and the promise of them if they opt in for the training that we were offering. That generated the results that we showed you. For this one, we don't really have results. This is an external video here that we're just showing you. Again, a simple selfie video or just front-facing video style, those can do the trick as long as your message is being conveyed. How you can script good videos is with the basic structure. If you're a business owner, or if you have a friend that can be like a spokesperson, for example. If you're not comfortable being in front of the camera, then you can go with the faceless video that we just kind of showed you, or have, like I said, a spokesperson doing that for you. We don't want to just talk about like this creative effort here. We do want to talk about, from a media buying standpoint, how to understand the videos that you're being provided with from your creative team and what you can do to actually make them work. Obviously, from a media buying standpoint, there's not a whole lot that you can do if the video is not generating the metrics and the results that you need. From a day-to-day, you want to look at if the video has good CTR, right? Good click-through rate. We always talk about this. There's certain benchmarks you want to be at least at 1.2, 1.5 CTR. That's kind of like usually a good metric to be in, right? If you're over 2%, it means your ad is crushing it and you're doing well, but you want to get there, right? I've seen ads work in the 1% or less than 1% click-through rate, but generally the ones that are going to drive lower costs per acquisition, lower cost per purchase are gonna be those that are around the 1.5, right? The main ideas of this video here is for you guys to get some insight so you can do the most with the least, right? So you don't wanna spend thousands of dollars, which happens more often than not, is you have a lot of business owners that they'll spend thousands of dollars on paying an agency to create a specific video where maybe they have no idea if it'll work or not on YouTube. You know, they just spend a whole bunch of money, they upload the video and they start promoting it on YouTube or even Facebook ads, and then it's crappy, right? Or it doesn't work for whatever reason. So that's what we're trying to help you guys kind of avoid running into, that is by really identifying which videos you can create that are maybe, you know, a little bit cheaper to produce. Now, when we say cheap, we don't talk about like low quality, we're just talking about maybe not investing thousands of dollars in producing it, right? So as you know, you have to test multiple ads, right? So I mean, we've had clients that will test the selfie style, right? Or they'll test the front face camera, maybe interview style. So there's a lot of videos that you can do right now. You know, you have a good camera, obviously, you know, you'll definitely want that. A good sound, but that's pretty much it. You don't need to go out and do all these effects, right? And post edits to really make certain videos work, right? It's the impact that you want to generate with your videos. If you're all about branding, there's a lot of branding agencies out there, then maybe you do want to spend the thousands of dollars, right? But if you're just looking to maybe try out certain ideas without spending so much money on them, then go ahead and do that. Just like I said, just follow certain guidelines that we're gonna talk about shortly here, okay? You wanna be careful, again, not misconstrue cheap ads with low quality. Low quality in sound, visual, or messaging. There's lots of decent ads out there, like I said, with selfie style, that do work. With YouTube ads, the creative lever that you can pull, it's quite important on the media buying standpoint, because it is one of the main things that we test all the time. I would say about 60%, 70% of the time, we want to be testing new ads. That means your creative choices do matter, right? So you don't need, again, the huge investment, but here's a couple of guidelines that you can take into account. Hootsuite actually has a good article on this. You know, we're able to kind of extract a couple of things. One of the main things you want to do is hook people immediately with your ads. You know, what's a hook? Maybe it's a familiar face, right? A strong mood or emotion, you know, tight framing of your key products or faces, you know, perhaps surprising and unusual genre choice, right? Like with humor or suspense, or even a catchy song, right? If you can secure the rights to that. You need to emphasize your offer and make it clear to your audience what it is that you're trying to convey to them right away. That's very important. So you also need to define what your call to action is going to be, what action you're asking them to do within your ad, and you know, start a conversation with a 5-second expression that can just catch their eyes, catch their attention, and make them keep watching, obviously, the rest of your video ad. You want to have, you know, maybe branding early on in your videos. So even if it's just a simple logo within the video, you know, according to YouTube, the top of the funnel awareness ads perform best when branding appears in the first 5 seconds, right? So that's one thing to take into account. So make sure your logo or your, you know, any branding element that you go for is in good format, and that it will be, let's say, projected in a great fashion with YouTube ads. Yeah, so like, you know, when you brand in a meaningful way with a YouTube ad as well, there are times where you can just get more traction and more brand lift in that sense. If you obviously have other video ads that you can show the same people over again, they're gonna have that recall, right? And just, it's gonna allow the viewers to kind of engage with your brand a lot more. If they see the first video ad, they may not engage with that. If they see another, but if you have your logo at the beginning, you know, obviously they align that with your offer. Maybe a second video is more, they're more inclined to take action, right? Signing up for that webinar, or, you know, trying out that software, right? If they continue to see kind of like that branding. So that's one way that you can actually go about that. The next thing that you want to take into account when creating, you know, your ads is you want to engage with an audience, right? So in the example that we showed you, I mean, we had this guy, he was, you know, very enthusiastic, you know, very charismatic, and, you know, really engaged with his audience right from the beginning, right? It's super important to create a bond with them, project a message in an emotional way as well at times, right? So there's times you'll see a lot of videos. I mean, I've gotten served a video ad. I'm not gonna say names, but you know, there's a guy that offers like an MBA or something like that, but you know, it's a guy with a suit, and he's in his office, and he's just like very serious, and he's like, hi, you know, the MBA, blah, 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 and he's just like very like too stern, like too serious for my taste, you know? So like, I always skip the video ad. You know, you have to resonate with what you're looking at, right? It's just a way that you're communicating and how people perceive you, right? So it's just a way that people perceive you online, and like if they like you, right, on camera, you know, if you're likable personality, then they're more likely to take action, right? And this will spark their interest into looking at your offer, right, or checking out your offer and seeing if that's something that they want to think about doing. So it's important how you communicate from the beginning, from your top of the funnel offer all the way through the bottom of the funnel, as we've talked about in previous videos. Okay, but yeah, like I said, you know, these are just some of the basic stuff they can take into account, and you'll be able to generate more leads that way. The important thing is, you know, put yourself in your audience's shoes. Think about the specific vocab that you want to use, you know, which tone you want to use, depending on what you have. You know, is it a caring, a cheerful, conversational, right? Are you going to speak formally, right, or just casually, right? So these are good questions for you to ask yourself. You know, in order to be like in a video, kind of like in this setting here, and just speak to your audience directly to the camera. And again, I mean, that doesn't cost a lot. It's more just like the mental effort, you know, maybe doing the research. So, but like, it's just you and a camera. That's not gonna cost you a lot. You can even do it with a high quality phone nowadays, and you'll be good to go. But just ensure that that you can engage them, right? Getting more into the technical side of the situation, you know, apart from the conceptual elements that you need to maybe add a couple of editing, some slight editing there. You know, you don't have to have a deep knowledge about editing programs or graphics, but they do help engage a lot more. So, you know, adding the overlay to your videos, the subtitles at times works well. One of the most important things is obviously good lights, right? Good lighting. So you wanna have decent lighting when creating the non-professional videos. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube, a lot of video ads that I've seen where the person is in the car, right? So in the car, and he's got the phone maybe on the dashboard there, and they're filming, but they're giving out a message. I mean, we've had a client that he had some videos where he was in the car, and those were generating quite a bit of leads and sales, right? And he's just in the car, but he's got, you know, he already had a script in mind, and he was very deliberate, and the lighting, it was perfect. It was nice. It was good quality, right? But then again, that didn't cost him a fortune to produce. Okay, so there are different resources online that you can look to if you want to convert online. Well, we actually have one here for you. You can click on the video up there. It's how to create ads that convert well, the scripting, the shooting, and the editing tips to crush it with YouTube ads. This is the video. Shaz put this video together. You can take a look at it right by clicking on the link up there. Another essential aspect is the sound, right? So there's a lot of folks out there they'll record with a cell phone. If they're outside and if you don't have a mic, the sound can be very, very windy, right? It can sound like really not appealing, right? You're not gonna have good click-through rates if you can't hear what the person's trying to convey, right? That's one of the at least minimal investments that you can make when creating videos, is having a decent mic, a decent microphone where your audio is just coming out clearly to the other person watching it, right, on the other side of the camera. Other aspects of it is depending on what your offer is. So I know we've mentioned this before in prior videos. If you have like a software or like an online tool that you use, do some screen records, right? There's some software there that it's free to use. Maybe there's some paid ones that you don't have to pay a whole bunch to use, where you can just kind of do like a screen record, right? Those videos work well at times, where you're just kind of showing the behind the scenes and kind of showing the features, right? Displaying the features and benefits of using a specific tool. So that's another way that you can go about that. But again, this wasn't a whole lot about the media buying aspect of it, but it's more like, hey, you can create cheap ads, right? With that can convert well. You just need to have the click-through rates there. That's one of the main things that you want. You want click-through rates. View rates are not as heavily, it's not as important, but if you have good click-through rates on your ads, whether highly produced, professionally produced, or just non-professionally produced, that's all that matters, right? Because at the end of the day, people are clicking your ad, it's because they're interested in it. They like what they saw, and now you're on your way to just continuing to generate the results that you need, right? So that's the bottom line here. All right, so that's it. Again, if we can recap one more time here, the importance of of engaging your audience right from the beginning, right? So like hook people immediately, you know, with what you're trying to accomplish here, right? 2, you know, branding early inside the video. Sometimes you don't even need to do the branding part of it, but it does work in some aspects, and depending on what niche you're in. So take that with a grain of salt. Engage with your audience. That is a must. You definitely want to engage with them, whether it's you as being front center of your company, of your business, and you're showing face and you want to engage with them. You as a CEO or owner, engage with them, right? Be emotional with them and be enthusiastic, right? If you want to be cheerful, be enthusiastic, be in a cheerful fashion. You can do that. Or like I said, you can also engage them if you want to go faceless, then go with some overlay, with some tight framing, some good imagery that people can relate to with your overlay, right? The text that you want to put on the video, make them deliberate and according to what you're trying to convey. The lighting, right? Keep in mind, have good lighting, obviously good sound when you're doing this. Again, that's, you don't have to spend thousands. So there you have it. This video is how to make cheap but quality ads that can convert well in YouTube ads. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notifications so that way you can get notified when we drop some more YouTube ad bombs for you. We'll see you on the next one.